People with epilepsy. Has anyone ever tried to give you a seizure? I was sitting in class when I felt that weird tingling in my brain, and after a few seconds of wondering if my iron was just low, I realized what it was. My entire life, my doctors had told me if I ever felt my epilepsy coming back, I'd have 2 minutes before I could burst out into a seizure. I had to take my meds ASAP, but they were in my locker. I needed them bad because now I felt my hands start shaking, but as I went to raise one of them to ask to leave, I hesitated. The teacher I had was known for being one of the strictest in our school, and was infamous for telling a girl who wanted to cure cancer because her mom died of it, that she'd actually have to be smart to do that. But I knew I only had 2 minutes before I'd be on the ground spazzing uncontrollably, so I had no choice. I raised my shaky hand as calmly as I could and asked if I could use the bathroom, just needing to get out of that room. She looked at me and gave me a weird nod. I assumed this meant yes, but as I stood up and went to leave the room, she says, "Excuse me, did I say you could leave?" I tried to explain. I told her it was an emergency, that I really needed to go right now, but as I was talking, she got close to my face and her expression changed. She was staring into my eyes. "Wait a second, why are your pupils so dilated?" I was about to tell her about my epilepsy, but she grabbed my face and shined her phone flashlight into it. "Are you on drugs?" I pulled away from her. "No, I'm not on drugs. I have epilepsy. I need to get my medication from my locker or I'm going to have a seizure." I tried to walk past her, but she goes, "Nuh-uh, you're going to pop more pills. I knew it," and beat me there. She turned the lock so I couldn't leave, saying she's had it with the druggies in our school. I felt it getting worse, so I kept pleading. "Please, I'm not lying. I really do have epilepsy and I really am about to have a seizure. Please just let me get my pills." She walked over to the light switch by the door. "You know what? Let's test it." Before I could react, she started flicking the lights on and off, on and off. I felt my brain starting to tense up, knowing this was bad. I closed my eyes saying stop, and everyone else started to notice how insane this was. A few other students told her to just let me go, especially this one guy from the back. He stood up and said, "Let her go, this is serious, can't you see?" "Absolutely not." She just pulled out her dumb Android and called someone saying, "I finally caught the drug dealer you've been looking for. Make sure the police come too." She looked at me with a grin, like she was about to get a huge bonus for catching a drug dealer. I sat there trying to contain myself, but she wasn't done. "Since you want to keep lying, let's really test this." She pulled up YouTube and typed flashing colors, then clicked on the first video that came up. The screen exploded with rapid strobing lights in every color. "See? None of you kids are Cameron boys." Our whole class was yelling now, especially the one guy in the back, but as he stood up from his desk, something happened. His voice cut off mid-sentence. I heard a gasp, then a crash, then the horrible sound of a body hitting the floor. I looked up just in time to see him on the ground. His legs were kicking against the desk legs. I heard him on the floor because he was having a seizure. She clicked pause on the video, looking confused, but then finally realized what she'd done. The girls were screaming around him, completely panicking. Nobody knew what to do, and someone was trying to get into our room. There was banging on the door because the assistant principal was there. A girl unlocked it, and he came in and saw what was going on. He yelled, "Holy shit!" He dropped down next to him, trying to remember what to do. He held his tongue so he wouldn't choke on it, and in behind him came a few officers. They had just looked through my locker, and one was holding a bag with evidence written on it. It was my epilepsy meds. I ignored my body starting to shake as well and said, "Those are my seizure pills. He needs them." The vice principal realized too, grabbing them even though the cop tried to stop him. He basically shoved them down the kid's throat, making him swallow as he couldn't stop shaking. Then we watched as he slowed down and started blinking again. He was crying, but somehow it worked. Both of us survived that rave the teacher tried to start, and after he was breathing again, we all looked over at our teacher standing there not knowing what to say. Long story short, she's in the same prison as Diddy.